Welcome to Rearview Diaries. I'm Paul, your host. I was always fascinated by how we have lost contact talking to people, especially strangers. Then I discovered rideshare is one way where we are connected randomly to total strangers, and some, when they open up, they have so many fascinating stories. And it's just been an amazing experience learning about people that would never come across my life except in this private, intimate space in my car. And this next story happened to be one of them. Unexpectedly, a story that stays with you forever. And today's story is one that changed me. It started like any other ride. She stepped into the car wearing a beautiful sundress, light, effortless, like she carried the sunshine with her. She greeted me with a warm smile, the kind that instantly shifts the energy in space. Before we even said much, I glanced at the destination, a hospital. Now I've done enough rides to know a hospital trip can mean a lot of things. Concern, routine, sometimes something heavier. But she didn't carry any of that. We drove. She was just present, looking out the window, taking in the world, smiling softly. There was a calmness to her, a kind of quiet joy. When someone brings you that kind of energy, it invites a conversation. So I asked gently, "Are you heading to visit someone?" She smiled again, a little bigger this time. "No," she said. "I'm actually going in for chemo." There was a brief silence. "Chemo?" I asked. "Yes," she replied calmly. "I had cancer for several years now, and this is hopefully one of my last treatments." And I remember thinking, how is this possible? Here's someone on the way to chemotherapy, and she was glowing, peaceful, even happy. So I told her honestly, for someone going through something like that, you seem so full of life. She paused for a moment, then said something I'll never forget. "Having cancer," she said, "was one of the best things that ever happened to me." Now, I didn't expect that. "One of best things?" I asked. She nodded. "I know it sounds strange," she said, "but before cancer, I wasn't a good person." And then she began to tell me who she used to be. She told me she went out of her way to make people miserable, that she pushed her family away, looked down on them, thought they weren't worthy of her time. She only see them every few years, weddings, funerals, obligations, holidays, avoided. With friends, she said, I thought I had them, but I didn't. They were around because they needed something from me, and I let it stay that way. At work, it was worse. I made people's lives difficult, she admitted. They tolerated me, not because they liked me, but because I was useful. And then she said something that hit hard. "I think I made people miserable because it made me feel better about myself." Then came the diagnosis, cancer. Her body, once strong, began to fail. Chemo, surgery, weakness, exhaustion, and then something unexpected happened. People showed up. Her family. The same people she pushed away were the first to reach out. They took turns staying with me, she said, making sure I ate, driving me to appointments, just being there. Her co-workers, even the ones she thought weren't real friends, started to check in. And over time, something shifted. They became real friends, she said. not because they needed something, but because they cared. Even people she had mistreated, janitors, service workers, people she once looked down on, they left little things on my desk. She said, flowers, notes, just kindness. She paused for a moment, looking out the window. I had never experienced that kind of genuine care before. And that's when it hit me, she said. This is what it means to be a good person. Kindness, connection, presence. Not power, not status, not control. Just being good to people. She told me when she returned to work, she made changes. She apologized. She gave raises. She thanked people sincerely. They were shocked, she said, with a small laugh. When I saw their happiness, it gave me joy I had never felt before. Then she said, it's unbelievable that it took cancer for me to learn this. She looked straight ahead. If I didn't get sick, I probably would have lived my whole life that way and died alone. But that wasn't the end of her story, because something else happened. Her doctors began to notice improvement, significant improvement. They told me my prognosis is getting better, she said, that I may even go into remission. She smiled again, and I honestly believe it's because I changed. She explained it in a way I've never heard before. Being angry, being mean, it takes so much energy, she said. It exhausted me. But being kind, that's effortless. And now I'm not tired anymore. I'm happy. I'm full of energy. We pull up to the hospital. The ride was over, but the moment lingered. She thanked me, stepped out of the car, and walked inside, still carrying the same light she arrived with. And I just sat there for a second longer than usual, just thinking. What a story. A reminder that change is always possible. That kindness isn't weakness, it's strength. And sometimes the hardest moment in life opened the door to becoming someone better. Thank you for listening to Rearview Diaries. If this story moved you, stay with us. There are many more stories waiting in the back seat. Until next time, this is Paul, and I'll see you in the rear view. If you like my stories, please subscribe and like, and please pass along to your other friends. Thank you for listening to Rearview Diaries.